Have you ever stopped to think, really think, how quickly a new company could scale if it started right now? With all this advanced AI we keep hearing about, what if you could sort of re-engineer entrepreneurship itself? Well, today we're diving deep into something pretty remarkable, I think. It's a venture creation system called Baby EON Ventures. So our mission today, it's really to unpack the system, how it claims to use what they call sentient AI, and how that transforms, aspiring entrepreneurs into actual leaders. We're talking an IPO target in just 18 months. 18 months, not years, and aiming for a, frankly, astounding 75% success rate, which is way up from the usual 5%. So yeah, we're going to explore the mechanics, the tech underneath it all, and this huge market opportunity they see. Okay, let's get into this. Let's unpack this incredible new model that promises to redefine how startups are born and scaled.
Yeah, and it's more than just a new model, really. It's positioned as a response to a pretty fundamental shift happening globally.
Mm-hmm.
The sources, they call it the AI intelligence arbitrage window.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's this idea of a unique period where AI is getting incredibly smart, like approaching superintelligence levels.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's becoming accessible at almost zero cost. That's a very powerful mix. Disruptive.
AI intelligence arbitrage window. That's quite a term. So what does that arbitrage actually look like? How does a traditional company pay for something an AI native venture gets almost free?
Right, good question. Think of it like this. Established companies, they're often weighed down by older systems, right? Legacy infrastructure, existing business models, they can't just ditch. So they can't just flip a switch and become AI first without potentially damaging their core business, cannibalizing it, basically. And this hesitation, this constraint, it creates what the sources suggest is a critical 5 to 7 year window, a window where new ventures built AI native from day one could just move much faster. They could potentially gain, unassailable market leadership because they don't have that baggage. They're not trying to retrofit AI. It's in their DNA from the start. That gives them the inherent advantage, almost cost-free compared to the incumbents.
Okay, yeah, that distinction, art engineering versus creating from scratch, that makes a lot of sense. And this isn't just like a concept on paper. Our source material points to some really big, tangible market indicators. Real problems driving this. Get this. The clean energy sector projected 3.3 million worker shortage by 2030. That's massive. Traditional training methods, they just can't keep up with that scale. Or look at manufacturing, an $8 trillion global industry, spending less than 2% on IT. That just screams disruption, doesn't it? Seems ripe for it.
Absolutely. And if you connect those dots, you start seeing the sheer scale of the opportunity these AI native ventures are built for. Take the digital twin market you mentioned. It's expected to explode, really, from around $16 billion this year to over $120 billion by 2032. That's nearly a 29% compound annual growth rate. It's huge. And across the board, industries need skills development that's 4 times faster than what we have now just to keep pace. So the need for these radically efficient AI-powered solutions, it's not just a nice to have, it's becoming a critical market necessity. And the traditional players, well, they're struggling to fill that gap.
Okay, so that's the why. It's compelling. The market need, the arbitrage window. So the next obvious question is how? How do they actually pull this off? And that takes us to the engine driving this whole thing. EON Reality's proprietary sentient stack. Just one piece of tech, apparently. It's described as a convergence of 3 breakthrough technologies. And together, they supposedly create competitive advantages that are just impossible for traditional companies to copy. Now, hold on. Before we get into the stack itself, we've used this term sentient AI a few times. What exactly do they mean by sentient here? For our listeners, are we talking like genuine consciousness? Or is it more about advanced AI that seems emotionally aware?
Yeah, that's a really important point to clarify. When EON Reality talks about sentient AI in their stack, they're not claiming consciousness like a human has it. No. Instead, it points to a very advanced AI with 5 key capabilities they highlight. There's self-awareness, so understanding its own state and context. Memory perfect recall, basically, of interactions, goals, everything. Then emotion recognition, interpreting user emotions. Reasoning, applying logic to complex problems.
Yeah.
And adaptability, learning and changing its responses in real time. So it's about creating an AI that can understand, respond, and adapt in ways that feel more like human intuition and empathy. That makes it a much more powerful mentor or collaborator than, say, older AI.
Got it. That context helps a lot. It clarifies the scope, but still sounds incredibly ambitious. Okay, so let's look at the first piece of this sentient stack, EON Genesis. real-time world creation. This uses Google DeepMind's Genie 3 AI. Now, Genie 3, that's DeepMind's model that can create entire virtual worlds just from text prompts, right? So imagine you type in a description, and boom, you get a training scenario, an assembly line, a complex power plant simulation, whatever. And it happens in minutes, they say, not months, enabling unlimited photorealistic simulations at almost no cost. That ability to just iterate, train without physical limits or huge budgets, that really changes the game for learning, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The speed is one thing. Genesis, powered by Genie 3. It means instead of a whole team spending months on one training module, an entrepreneur could potentially test out dozens of scenarios in a single day. That cuts development time massively and obviously slashes costs. Plus, the photorealism means the training feels real, it's immersive, so what you learn is more likely to stick when you face the real thing. Better retention.
Okay, and what's really fascinating is the next component. EON Brainy, the emotionally intelligent AI mentor. This isn't just some FAQ bot. It's described as a photorealistic AI avatar with perfect memory, never forgets your goals, your progress. It gives 24/7 strategic guidance, apparently based on analyzing thousands of similar ventures. So what are the real implications of an AI having perfect memory and emotional intelligence? How does that actually change things for an entrepreneur compared to, say, a human mentor?
Well, the perfect memory part is huge. It means Brainy builds this continuous, evolving picture of the entrepreneur and their venture. It remembers every chat, every pivot, every success, every setback. So its advice is always deeply personalized and context-aware. And the emotional intelligence bit, it's not that the AI feels, but it can recognize and respond to the entrepreneur's emotional state. It uses like Socratic dialogue, empathetic feedback, so it can offer support if you're hitting a wall or maybe challenge you if you need that push. It goes beyond just crunching numbers. It aims for a dynamic, responsive mentorship that, let's be honest, a human mentor just can't provide 24/7 with total recall.
Right, so it understands the human side of the roller coaster, not just the spreadsheets. Makes sense. And the third piece of the stack, digital twin IQ, physical-digital convergence. This one enables autonomous recognition and analysis of physical environments. It gets a component-level understanding of complex systems, and this seems key, integrates virtual training with physical operations in real time. So practically speaking, what does this mean for the entrepreneur day-to-day? How does digital twin IQ actually help them run their business?
It basically bridges the digital and physical worlds automatically. So imagine you're running a small factory. Digital Twin IQ could autonomously map the whole place, identify every machine down to its parts, and link that real-world data to virtual models. This lets you monitor everything in real time, predict when a machine might fail before it does, test new layouts or processes virtually without risk, and then implement the best changes physically. It drives efficiency, cuts down time, and allows for really rapid data-backed decisions that hit the bottom line.
Okay, so we've got the why, the market gap, and the what, the sentient stack tech. Now let's dig into the how, the actual Baby EON company model. It's laid out as a systematic process for creating these ventures. It starts with phase 1, entrepreneur identification. They use something called the Wayfinder system. It's an AI assessment, apparently, to find the top 1% entrepreneurial talent from universities they partner with. But top 1% talent, that's a big claim. How does an AI measure things like wild energy, learning velocity, or willingness to try the impossible? Those feel very human.
That's a fair question. These aren't things you measure on a spreadsheet, right? The Wayfinder system, based on the sources, seems to use a mix of advanced behavioral analytics, psychometric tests, and importantly, scenario-based simulations within that Genesis environment we talked about. So it observes how people act under pressure, how quickly they adapt, how they approach tough problems. It's looking for patterns. Patterns in decision-making, resilience, things that correlate strongly with successful high-growth founders, maybe more than just grades do. Then the AI matches these individuals to industries where their aptitude fits best with current market opportunities it's identified.
Huh, interesting approach. Okay, so once they find these people, they go into phase 2, intensive development, a 3-month entrepreneur school. The goal here is to shift them from, quote, traditional thinking to AI-augmented leadership. They use those Genesis scenarios for real-world practice, and they get continuous mentorship from their brainy AI. Sounds intense, like a boot camp for the AI age.
Yeah.
What's the core difference between traditional thinking and this AI-augmented leadership?
The key shift, I think, is moving away from trying to solve every problem manually and making decisions reactively, towards using AI as a constant, intelligent partner, a co-pilot, if you will. So AI-augmented leadership means knowing how to guide the AI, how to interpret its insights, how to weave them into every strategic move. It's about using Genesis for lightning-fast prototyping, using digital twin IQ for operational smarts. It empowers the entrepreneur to focus on asking the right questions and setting the direction, because the AI handles a lot of the heavy lifting on data analysis and scenario planning.
Right, leveraging the tool. And then comes phase 3, market launch. This includes that really ambitious 18-month garage to IPO timeline. Honestly, this is the part that raises eyebrows the most. 18 months to IPO, a 75% success rate. That just blows traditional VC models out of the water. What are the biggest hurdles to actually hitting those numbers?
Yeah.
And what assumptions are maybe being glossed over here? It feels almost too good to be true sometimes.
And you're right to push on that, because those targets are, well, unprecedented. The sources argue it's possible because of a few key accelerators built into the model. First, immediate market access. They get plugged into EON's existing global network, 136 million users. That potentially solved distribution and initial customer acquisition. Second, they mention over $2 billion in existing government contracts that can provide customers from day one for certain ventures. That de-risks things significantly. And crucially, the platform itself allows for, they claim, 100 times faster iteration than traditional methods. So finding product market fit should happen much, much quicker. The main challenge, I'd say it's maintaining that human spark, the vision, the adaptability within such a fast, structured, AI-driven process, and making sure the AI remains a tool, not, a substitute for critical thinking. The big assumption is that the AI's predictive power and support system are so effective that they genuinely reduce the inherent risk of startups to that incredible degree.
Okay, to really hammer home the difference here, let's look at the comparison the sources make. Traditional business versus these Baby EON Ventures. The contrast is pretty stark. It's not just a little better, it's radically different on paper. Take training development. Traditionally, 6 to 12 months, maybe $500,000 to $2 million. For Baby EON, using Genesis. Minutes. And almost no cost. That shift alone is just massive. Or market entry. Average time to IPO, maybe 7 years traditionally. Baby EON's target, 18 months. From garage to IPO, success rate. The classic 5% lottery for startups versus a projected 75% for Baby EON. Mentorship, scrambling for human advisors versus a 200% AI mentor that remembers everything. Even learning retention jumps hugely from maybe 10-30% traditionally to 75% with these immersive experiences. It feels like they've targeted every single bottleneck.
They really have. And the sources highlight other advantages too. Competitive moats, for instance. Traditional companies often take years to build any real defensible advantage. Baby EON Ventures are designed with AI-native advantages baked in from the very beginning, and this flows straight to the economics. They project at least a 50% cost reduction across operations. That gives them a massive competitive edge in pricing, in margins right from the start. It's a fundamental restructuring of the cost base.
And it's not just a plan for the future. They're targeting immediate deployment in 3 specific high-impact sectors, tying back to those market needs we talked about. First up, clean energy and renewables. Directly tackling that 3.3 million worker shortage, using digital twin power plant simulations, aiming for a 35% drop in safety incidents and getting people competent 66% faster. How exactly do these simulations lead to such rapid skill building?
It's the immersive hands-on learning. Instead of just reading a manual or watching a video, you're doing the job in a safe, virtual space. You can mess up, get instant feedback, practice tricky procedures over and over until it's second nature. It's experiential learning, which is just way faster and more effective for complex skills than traditional classroom stuff.
Makes sense. Then there's manufacturing and industrial, that huge $8 trillion sector that's lagging on IT spending. Here, Baby EON Ventures could use simulations to optimize equipment, prevent incidents, adapt processes on the fly. Sounds like pure efficiency gains.
Exactly. Simulating different factory layouts, predicting machine failures, optimizing workflows. In an industry where margins can be tight and legacy systems are common, those kinds of improvements can be game-changing for productivity and cost savings.
And the third one, defense and aerospace, an $800 billion plus global market. Here, the AI allows for unlimited scenario creation. Think combat training, crisis response, practicing high-risk procedures without any actual danger. It's clear they're aiming at some really big, complex global challenges where effective, scalable training is absolutely critical.
And the goal across all these isn't just to build companies, but to build companies with what the sources call an impossible-to-replicate competitive moat. This moat is built on 3 layers, 3 barriers. First, technology barriers. That's EON's 25-plus years in XR, extended reality, VR, AR, MR. Their massive library of 6 million digital assets, an exclusive Google DeepMind integration. And the perfect memory AI, building deep user relationships, hard to copy. Second is speed barriers, the real-time development, 100x faster iteration, AI agents building solutions in hours, not months. And that whole 18-month timeline itself is a speed barrier. Get big before others can react. And third, crucial network effects. Every venture feeds data back, making the collective AI smarter. Success patterns from one help all the others, and that global distribution network solves customer acquisition hurdles from day one. It's an ecosystem designed to self-reinforce and accelerate.
That idea of an impossible to replicate moat, especially with those network effects, it's powerful. And it ties back nicely to their bigger vision, global democratization of innovation. They frame this as extending EON Reality's core mission-making knowledge available to everyone by now giving young entrepreneurs these powerful AI tools that used to be only for giant corporations. How does that democratization idea mesh with the actual investment structure they use?
Well, it seems to align by giving the entrepreneur a really significant stake. The structure is 85% ownership for the entrepreneur, then 10% for EON Reality for the platform and support, and 5% typically for a national partner who helps with market access and government links. So the founder keeps the vast majority, but gets plugged into this massive global ecosystem EON has built. That includes things like a $60 billion wealth weaver alliance with Saudi Arabia, partnerships with over 500 universities, government ties in 40-plus countries. The performance targets reflect this scale. They're aiming for $3 million plus portfolio revenue and 3 active ventures in the first year, scaling up towards $100 million plus revenue and IPO readiness by year 4 or 5. The core idea seems to be, give talented people unprecedented tools and support. You don't just build companies, you accelerate a whole new ways of leaders.
And just to be clear, who is this actually for? The sources say it's open right now for entrepreneurs aged 20 to 32. People with vision and drive, crucially, regardless of their technical background. It seems like they want the raw ambition, and the AI handles the heavy tech lifting. So we've really gone deep here into Baby EON Ventures. It's a model that genuinely pushes the boundaries of venture creation. This blend of sentient AI, deep mentorship, and just incredible speed. It's a vision that really forces us to rethink our assumptions about what entrepreneurship even is.
Absolutely. It challenges so many ideas about what it takes to succeed. It suggests maybe, with the right AI partnership, the human role shifts. Shifts away from just grinding out the execution towards setting the strategic direction, the purpose. And that could make entrepreneurship genuinely more accessible, maybe more successful for many more people worldwide.
So here's something to think about. If sentient AI can actually condense years of that startup struggle into months, if it can reliably identify top talent and guide them to a high success rate, what does that imply? What does it mean for traditional business schools, for venture capital as we know it, for how we even define an entrepreneur in this coming age of AI? How might you need to rethink your own approach to innovation, knowing these kinds of capabilities are emerging? Something to definitely ponder until our next deep dive.